When we merged is all of a sudden the faith geography became all of metropolitan Baltimore and all of Anne Arundel County, and so Alyssa spoke from the Baltimore area and Tim spoke from the Anne Arundel County area. Hazami, Barmada, who's going to speak, is actually from one of our Muslim partners that is in the Washington, D.C. area. They often travel at 6 o'clock in the morning from Arlington or other places to arrive at work sites, and so I asked Hazami to speak from her perspective as well.
It's coming.
It's a warning. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Assalamu alaikum. First and foremost, thank you all for hosting us, and this is it's wonderful to be in this warehouse and to really see where it all happens and it all takes place. It's really interesting to see building supplies here and then go on site and see how they actually get put into place. So thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to actually read off of my note sheet over here. Now, as Jana said, I represent the Muslim faith. I represent a person who belongs to the Muslim faith, and it's very important for us to be very actively engaged in the work of Habitat for several reasons. As you guys know, the Muslim narrative is one that you hear often in the United States, but sadly one that is associated with a lot of negativity. So it is important for us to actually humanize the Muslim community and to really showcase to the rest of the United States that we are indeed active, vital members of this society and community, are contributing side by side, whether it's professionally, socially, or in volunteer capacity, to help make the community what it is that we all enjoy and we all reap the benefits of. I want to kind of start by talking about perceptions and power of perceptions in dictating how we interact with people. This preconceived notion about people dictates how we treat them and how we react to them. A year ago, I received an email from a friend of mine that was titled Power of Punctuation. And it was an English professor who wrote the words on the chalkboard for his class, "A woman without her man is nothing." He asked the students to punctuate that sentence. Most of the males in the classroom read that sentence, "A woman without her man is nothing." The same sentence, punctuated by most of the females in the classroom, read, "A woman without her man is nothing." So as you see, you can twist text the way you want to define your own agenda. You can twist it and read it from where you stand and project it the way you want. And as we know, these types of twisting of text are used to fulfill political, social, and cultural, economic agendas here in this country. As we gather here today, I'm saddened and distraught by what we see in the media daily around the Ground Zero mosque controversy. The seemingly negative and stereotypical, racist, oversimplistic, bigoted coverage sends chills up my spine. However, as I tend to be an optimist, I'm really happy that this proposed building has brought around a much-needed religious debate and dialogue about culture and acceptance and tolerance and diversity in this country. We cannot, as a community, allow the actions of a few to represent the whole. We cannot blame Islam for the actions of Muslims, which is damaging to the image of our entire faith and binds people like me and my fellow Muslims to these damaging stereotypes that actually affect how we are perceived as not only a religious base, but as people. This increasingly apparent Western discourse of dealing with policy, media, and international affairs has been dominated with an us versus them dichotomy. This us versus them narrative has not only shaped our international policy, but also has had an effect on the domestic front, which is very problematic because us are often among them as Muslim Americans. Or sorry, them are often among us as Muslim Americans. Biased and limited news coverage marginalizes people like me who face the repercussions of this in our daily lives. Now that brings me to AMIN. Why are we involved with Habitat? The American Muslim Interactive Network is a non-political, culturally diverse grassroots organization committed to creating and fostering a social, cultural, and professional network of Muslims and those interested in interfaith relations in the United States. We are different from other congregations who are part of this network because we are not a congregation. We are 100% volunteer network that actually brings together people of diverse Muslim faiths and backgrounds to actually dialogue about issues, to work collaboratively with other organizations, and to really put a face to the diversity of the Muslim American community. And we, as we say, we're not necessarily about Islam. We're an organization about being Muslim. AMIN initiatives bring together people in a non-judgmental, all-inclusive environment that promote exchange, respect, and tolerance between people of different faith practices, ideology, cultural backgrounds, practices. We believe firmly not about talking about what we believe, but in acting it out. Which brings us to honor our relationship with Habitat for Humanity. For Habitat provides our members with an opportunity to participate in charitable, volunteer, and educational initiatives that allow us to fulfill our civic duty to give back to the American community at large, while also participating in key interfaith dialogue with other religious groups, building bonds of friendship while also building homes. I will say that these are probably some of our most popular events among AMIN members, and I want to acknowledge a statement by Rida Sabuni, who's here with us, who is the manager of our Habitat for Humanity program. And I will say, Rida works so diligently and passionately towards this, and he has built it to be the popular program that it is. This is a quote from Rida. "I look forward to Habitat Builds every month because it's an opportunity for me to learn a new skill, but also an opportunity to meet a new person. It's really a treasure when you get to build with a person of another faith who hasn't had much exposure to the Muslim faith. By being yourself, you are helping educate and familiarize another person with someone of the Muslim faith. And maybe this person, who previously may have been bombarded with images from the media of what a Muslim looks like and acts like, perhaps that person will then develop a different view. And maybe this person will share that different view with their friends and family. Personal interactions are the strongest kind, and when they're multiplied through a chain reaction, it gives me more meaning to what we're doing here." Justice, mercy, and acceptance play a central role in the Quranic discourse, and it's in essence an obligation that we owe to God and to other people. And the Quran says, God created people of different groups and grouped them together into nations and tribes to get to know one another. And I thank you all for the opportunity to be here, and I really look forward to a continued dialogue and continued growth with Habitat, and thank you again.
One of the things that we know as people of faith is we can preach all about